Hey everybody! Today's video is going to be my YouTube paycheck for November 2017. So let's see how we did. Straight up money-wise from just the ads run on YouTube, I made $2,214. That was based on a view count of 1.244 million. That created a CPM or cost per mil or cost per thousand of $1.78. And my subscriber growth was 2,837 for the month. I also have this additional income. This is from the one viral video for the iguana I saved, the 4-mile iguana offshore. The income was 1,148. Now, I'm not sure if I included the 1,000 in my Octobers. I might have, so this could be actually a mixture of it because they gave me $1,000 advance and then I had to pay some last month and then some this month. So that may or may not be it, but actually that was my November income. And then on my Patreon, which you saw a video earlier today on, I did $575 from my Patreon contributors to the channel. Now, whenever I do these paycheck videos, I kind of like to add in some informative pieces or focus on something in particular. In today's video, I'm actually going to do two. One, I want to look at the CPM. And I'm going to do a kind of a look at the full year since this November marks my 1 full year of doing YouTube and having it monetized. And this will be a good indicator for those people that are thinking about joining the YouTube community and making some money off of it, as well as for those that have been doing it for a while and trying to understand their income, how it keeps fluctuating so rapidly. So I'll go over a bit about that. And the other thing I'm going to go a bit about is Patreon, since that was what my last video was about, but go into a little bit of a detail about what happened with their financing and their fees that they tried to implement and then figured out it was the wrong thing to do and then pulled it back, but also to show transparency that there are fees associated with that. So it's just like any donation that you make, not all the money goes to where you want it to, but at least you'll know, so that'll clear things up there. So let's get to the CPM. Now today I wanted to take a look at CPM, or cost per mil, cost per thousand. Basic way that's factored is you take your block amount of income for that time frame and you divide it by blocks of 1,000. So for example, the way I do it is like on average I get 1 million views per month. So 1 million views is basically 1,000 blocks of 1,000. So I take my income for that month, divide it by how many blocks of 1,000, and that gets me my CPM, or cost per thousand. And that's where you get these rates here. So like in December, I made $2.49 for every 1,000 views on average. Now, to be specific, this is just a very general overview that I'm looking at because it's really the only calculable way that I could figure on tracking the CPM. Realistically, the way it works is for every advertisement that you see on a channel, there's a specific agreement for that one advertisement for that one channel. So for instance, I have this ad for this red pen. I make so much money for every 1,000. Somebody else runs this red pen advertisement on their channel, it makes a different rate, okay? And no difference than a red pen ad versus a black pen ad is going to be different because they're different ads. So every time there's a different factoring there, but that's impossible for me to whiteboard it. So what I just do is take that CPM overview. I just take my total for that month and divide it for my total views for that month, and then I get that CPM. Now, what I'm trying to focus on this CPM for you to see is a kind of a trend, a negative trend that's going on. And this will be kind of helpful for people that are either already in the YouTube game or looking to get into the YouTube side of it, and to understand that there are some challenges and it's not like what it used to be. So if you take a look at this trend, okay, with these factors, like in December 249, that's not bad, but you have to remember that it's influenced by Christmas. Same thing in November. Those 2 months are going to be by far the best months of the year based on the fact that's when people are spending money, including advertisers. But then you have January. January is kind of a transition month. That's when people kind of take a break, businesses kind of sit down and have to calculate their books out for the prior year to figure out how they actually did, because November, December is just a madhouse. But then they have to figure out how did we do that fourth quarter and how it impacted the full last year. Why that's also important, just not for the financials, but it also factors in your investment into your future for the following year, all those budgets. So the prior year, you kind of create an estimate for your next year, but in January, you actually know how you did, so you have a number to kind of figure out. So if you had a banner year, okay, you're going to want to take that money and reinvest it. So you're going to bump all your expenses, add more people, buy more supplies, buy more and more advertising for the new year. On the flip side, if you had a really crappy last year, you're going to be cutting payroll, cutting expenses, you're cutting down on your advertising because you got to keep things in balance. But after that, it tends to flatten out. Then you start seeing this trend. February 212, 202, 161, 155, 149, 129, 132. September jumps up to 165, but that was influenced by my iguana video, viral video that really took off. Huge numbers, very, very family-friendly video that advertisers love. So they were dropping money in order to buy those ad blocks for that video. And then October, that sharp drop off that kind of follows back in line there. And that's because I basically sold the rights to Jukin Media, or partnered with Jukin Media. So they were handling it. And what they do is they basically even take the YouTube revenue. We do a revenue share, but they handle all of it, including that revenue, as well as any ad rights for selling that video, and we do a revenue split. But that gets taken away from my income, so it gets kind of minus the iguana video, and that's where we're looking at 127. And then this last month, $1.78, but again, November, December, always going to be up. You see that trend. What does that trend look like? Burnt, okay? So what that means is in October, okay, I was making, for the same amount of views, basically half of what I did in December, okay? All of these just down, down, down. So basically for the same amount of work, I'm getting paid a lot less. And that's not to mention what people used to see. Like I've only been doing the 1 year monetizing, so I don't have any history beyond that. But people from 2, 3, 5 years ago, okay, they were looking at $5 to $10 CPMs per video. So you can see how impactful that would be. If I'm making $10 CPMs, I mean, even in December, I would be making 4 times the amount of money I was. In this last month, I made $2,500 on ad money. I would have made $10,000 for the same amount of work, same video, same everything. It's just those ad rates. And what that's cause of is that supply and demand. There is a massive supply of YouTube videos and YouTube creators, people jumping on board because people want to be involved with YouTube. So YouTube, with this Admageddon down here, found out that they don't have to pay with the rates that they were. They can slash it down to a third and people are still going to be coming. Now the demand for videos is also rising, but not as much as the demand as the supply of people creating videos. So for those people that are interested in joining the YouTube stuff, it's going to be harder. On the bad side, on the good side, you don't know any better. So you just kind of go with what you get, and it's either enough or it's not enough. But anyways, that is CPM for you. Okay, the next part I want to go over is Patreon. Earlier today, I did a video about a reboot of my Patreon account. I originally started it back the day before Hurricane Irma, and that was to help me transition through that hurricane time frame. And since then, it's been growing on its own. I just haven't been really pushing it out there. I wanted to take care of some of my original contributors. But then this morning's video was kind of a reboot to it. So in regards to the paycheck side of it, I thought I wanted to go over a bit to kind of make it a little bit more transparent so you understand how it works. And it's not much different than any time you donate. There's always some backside fees and expenses that can tend to get taken away. It's hard to find a donation option where the full 100% goes directly to who you want it to. But this will at least so you know. The way Patreon works, and they actually got into trouble by trying to change this, but now they revised it so it's back to the original. But the way it works is that you as a contributor donate an X amount of money, okay? Patreon takes 5% right off the top for their fees. They're not a nonprofit, okay? They provide a service, and I think that 5% is relatively fair. They have a centralized website. They give you your own web page. They show you a very easy structured layout, how to set it up. They have a payment processing plan built in. So it's all, once you get it set up, quick and easy, it's self-running. So that's, I feel, is somewhat worthwhile. And then they separate it out to the transaction fee, which is pretty much anytime you use your credit card, there's an associated fee with it. And in this case, it ranges from 2 to 10%. Now, I wish that could be a little bit more transparent, but I also understand that every bank is different. Any Visa, MasterCard handling processing is different, and my bank is different. So it's all a bunch of different costings, so it's hard to say. But the net result is in general, I receive out of that original donation between 85 and 93% of it, okay, after everything is taken out. And then on a sidebar, the fail that they did is that they wanted to focus on is to make sure that the end portion went to us in the full amount. So basically 95% would come to us. 5% would be the Patreon, their cost side of it. But then you'll have to say, well, where does that other fees part that go into it, how is that paid for? Because it can't just go away. What they did is that they were going to add that to your contributor side. So they made a flat fee of 2.9% plus 35 cents. And they weren't going to deduct that because that would reduce the amount we were getting on our side. They were going to add those to your donation. So if you were going to donate $1, you weren't going to donate $1. You're going to hit with $1 plus 2.9% plus 35 cents for every transaction. So your $1 donation all of a sudden turns up to $1.37, okay? And that's what they would take out of your account, not just $1. And that caused an uproar from contributors, your side of it, but also the people on my side of it were like, what are you doing? You can't do that, okay? Because people were just like, screw this, I'm not gonna do that. And they would just sign off, boom. So the contributors lost a bunch of people that were like, that's stupid, that's crazy, it's insulting, and they lost a bunch of people. So all of a sudden now you've got pissed off people that are contributing, you got pissed off people on my side of it, the end part of it, and then that's when they said, oops, we messed up. We're gonna go back to the original. So we're back to the original plan there. But anyways, that's just kind of to show a little bit of transparency of there is fees involved with it. Some people have requested that they're not interested in doing the month-to-month type of rewards, benefits type of thing that Patreon has set up, and we're more interested in a one-shot deal. So I opened up my PayPal account. So I've got little buttons on the main page header, as well as I'll put links in the videos as well. And if you want to just do a one shot where there's no fees and it's just straight across, there you go. And I'll still include those into my rewards as I do a bunch of little fun things for the Patreon contributors as well. So anyways, that is my YouTube paycheck for November, including CPM trends and transparency in Patreon. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye.